kings of the world. And anywhere it's homebound, we are kings of the world. And tonight is our playground, we are kings of the world. And anywhere it's homebound, we are kings of the
Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly Wednesday webinar here at Breakthrough RE. So happy to see you guys here. What a phenomenal guest that we have for you today. So exciting. Hey, before we get started, just a little bit of housework for us. Do us a favor. If you've got questions today, please go ahead and put those in the chat section. Our amazing Director of Operations, Robin Keeley. Say hi, Robin. She's probably
Hi.
There she is. So she'll be answering questions back and forth, or we can also pose those to Mr. Holton. So we should be good. Okay, guys, like I said, so excited about our amazing guest today. He's a really good friend of mine, so I get to brag on him just a little bit. Okay, his name is Chris Holton, and Chris, a little bit about Chris. He has served in the U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service, sir. So appreciate that. He lived in Arizona. He's lived in Arizona for the past 21 years. He started in real estate in 2018, so not that long ago. And he's built a successful real estate business while also running other businesses. Busy man. Yes, he is. He's a real estate investor. He's a real estate coach. And by the way, an all-around good guy. So I love this quote from Chris, and I think it's so important. He says, working in real estate and meeting clients, I try never to forget that it is a great privilege to be chosen to be a part of such an important transition in a person's life. This transition very often involves the most highly valued asset in one's financial portfolio, as well as the most highly valued personal asset, where family has been raised, holidays have been spent, and many of life's profound memories have taken place. That warms my heart. I hope it warms your heart too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so everybody, give a big old welcome to Chris Holton. Chris, come on in here, man.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's so good to see you here, my friend.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Absolutely, right. Just fine. Okay, so I let's kind of give some history of Chris Holton if we can. Now I know maybe we can start kind of with that military thing. By the way, like I said, thank you for your service. Amazing. You and your wife, by the way, both of you guys. Take us a little bit about through your history and maybe kind of right up to the whole real estate thing. Would that work for you?
Oh wow. That's a long story. I don't know how much time we have here, but I'll make it short. I'll condense it. Okay. So I went into the military back in December of '95.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was an aircraft mechanic. A lot of people don't know that about me. I worked on F-16, and it's that was great. That was a great time of my life. I always love working with my hands and learning new things, right? But I also have a sense of pride when I see a completed task or something that I've built, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was a great experience. So worked on F-16. That's where I met my beautiful wife, Nicole, mm-hmm. Right? Ended up getting married, and she's from New York. I'm from Chicago, right?
Oh, okay.
But my brother was actually stationed here in Arizona at Luke Air Force Base. So we came here all the time to visit for holidays, right? Mm-hmm. But now we all know that those are the best times to come here, right? So, the weather was beautiful, and we decided to move here. And then that first summer hit, and it was like, holy crap, what do we do, right? But as long as you can endure those few months of heat, the rest of the time here is beautiful. So moving on from there, got out of the military. Then I started to work on heavy construction equipment. And a lot of people don't know that about me either, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, gotcha.
So I worked on heavy construction equipment with Hertz Equipment Rental, and then moved over to RSC. From there, so it was hot, right? I didn't want to work in the heat anymore. So I actually used my GI Bill to pay for hair school.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
I've been cutting hair since I was 12. I take my clippers everywhere I go, so this was easy for me.
Okay.
So I I went to school to get my cosmetology license first.
Okay.
Went into cosmetology, and that's when I was able to leave the maintenance world into the world of hair. And
Well, that's a
so
big
I did.
shift.
It is a huge
Yeah.
shift. But again,
Okay.
I was working with my hands again, right? And so
Okay.
this is what keeps me happy, right? And so I did that for a while, and moved on to transition to getting my barber's license. So I kind of let my cosmetology license go, moved into barbering, and from there I've been at for about 20 years. And everything has been going great. I opened up my own shop.
Yeah.
Did that for about 10 years, and then I realized that wasn't really the route I wanted to go.
Okay.
So sold the shop, and then that's when we got into the world of real estate. Right now, my wife and I, we've always wanted to get into it, and between both of our schedules, we actually had to decide who was going to go get their license.
Okay.
Right. And so
Sure.
that just wasn't gonna be in my wife's her schedule was not gonna allow that, right?
Okay.
So I went ahead and I went to go get my license, and I mean it was the best thing ever. Moved into that, and then was able to structure myself to be able to work both.
Gotcha. So you had your own shop at this time, and as a barber, and then you decided to go into real estate. So you're kind of doing them both at the same time. Is that right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what was that first year like for you?
Ooh, so first year, actually, okay, here's the thing. Cutting for 20 years, I had a huge clientele base, right? And so they were actually excited to hear that I was going to get my license, and that really plays a part into, in this business, we need to have people that know you, that trust you, and that's willing to work with you, right? And so moving right into this, it was already done for me. It was like baked in,
Yeah.
And so a lot of my clients, my first clients were haircut clients as well. So first year was actually kind of great. I started out with 4 transactions out the gate. I had no idea what I was doing, right? And so I had to lean on a lot of people, to get those transactions going, because people wanted to work with me right away.
You just mentioned something. I think it's really, really important. And for those people who are kind of dual career, and maybe they're just getting started, one of the conversations, certainly with clients that I work with, one of the conversations when they're starting out is they don't want to talk to people that they know, and let them know that they're in real estate. They're feeling that they're going to sound salesman-y. But you didn't do that. You started having those conversations. What did that look like for you?
Well, I mean, real estate is no different than any other business. If you're gonna have a business, you have to talk about your business, right? And so you can't be a secret agent, right? If you tell nobody that you're an agent, then how are you gonna get business? And so it was no different. How I built my clientele in hair is the same way that I build my clientele in real estate. And that's just from having
Fantastic.
conversations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for the people, so is that still the same today for you? Like you've already built a nice big business too, and you're still doing both. Am I correct?
Right.
You're still
I
dual
am.
career. So it's not like you've still got kind of both paths. And I believe, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. So you own a shop and you actually have people, barbers who actually work in your shop as well.
Right.
So you've got people working for you there, and then you've got people working for you in your real estate careers. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's what it used to be. That's the shop that I sold.
Okay, gotcha.
And so now I am in a single space, and I'm just appointment only. So that allows me to be able to dictate, how my schedule flows from day to day.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
One thing I know about you, Chris, you have, and it's kind of an honor to watch you go through it, but you've got one of the strongest mindsets of anybody I've ever seen. Tenacity and grit and all of those things. And you're also such a humble guy. Let's talk about that dual career person and the kind of the strategies and the mindset that someone who's dual career needs to have to really be a success in the real estate business.
Well, if anyone knows me, I hate to be told that I can't do something. Right?
This is true.
So, when I first started, so many people in the industry told me that I have to make a decision. I have to make a decision. And I was like, why? Why do I have to make a decision? I can do this, right? And so basically what I did was I just kind of merged the two. So what a normal day for a real estate agent would look like would be you would time block your lead gen in the morning, right? About 9 to 11, right? And if you're not doing that, you should. Right? But so my lead gen is a little bit different, because I learned that I'm doing 80% of my clients are coming from the hair business, right? And so what happens is when I go to work, and so I've time blocked my schedule, and I'm sure we'll get to time blocking, right? But I time block my schedule, right? And I now work every evening from 3 to 7, right? Okay. Now, I have a captive audience for 30 minutes at a time. And and I'm going to talk about real estate at some point. I have my closings on the wall, and so that's a conversation starter, right? They always ask about how the market is, and then we start talking. And what I always find is, you have to ask the question. Nobody's waking up in the morning saying, "Oh, who can I send Chris today?" But if you ask the question, you'll start to find that a lot of people have so many people that they've spoken to that's looking to do business that you uncover. And so the conversation is usually, who do you know? I know you know somebody, right? And they always say, you know what, I just spoke to my neighbor and they had mentioned that they were thinking about moving. Or yeah, my sister just told me that she's looking to buy a house, right? And so you just uncover that. And that's pretty much how it's been working out for me, is just merging the two, so I use that time as my lead gen time. And then they get up and they pay me. Right.
How
So
cool is that?
Yeah.
Sell a house. Hey, it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the average person who's dual career, let's say that they are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday,
Okay.
normal day. You mentioned time blocking. Now for you, you're able to time block because you have complete control over your both schedules.
Correct.
Right? Okay. What if an agent doesn't have complete control over their schedule? What would you advise them?
Well, that can be tough. There's numerous ways. I think the important thing is to understand how many different ways you can get paid in this business.
Mm.
What I mean by that is, let's say if you are working a 9 to 5, and let's face it, most real estate happens throughout the day,
Mhm.
right? And so if you're working 9 to 5, you're working while real estate is happening.
Mhm.
So it could be very difficult, right? Now, there's numerous ways that you can still get paid off of this. It's leverage. So you can find other people to work the deal,
Mhm.
right? You could team up with an agent and you could split the commission, right? And stuff
Mhm.
like that, right?
Mhm.
Um, there's referral based business. You
Mhm.
could literally just be a referral based agent, still talking to
Yeah.
people about real estate,
Yep.
and just refer it over to another agent and just take a referral off of it and keep on
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that could be up to $3,000 of a transaction.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's some pretty good income.
Yeah, no kidding. It's interesting. And I have this conversation with my coaching and training clients quite often. And you pointed it out so beautifully, Chris. Here's the thing. You guys who are watching out there, you may have a database that you think is only 100 people. But if you think about all the friends and family you have all over the country, and you're able to provide real estate market information, things of value for real estate to all of those people, you can always find a referral somewhere else, even in another state. So you're right, Chris, if someone is going to be, they're working 9 to 5 and someone is wanting to get out of that 9 to 5 and they want to go straight into real estate, maybe it is about leveraging and sharing those transactions with other people and having that money come in. And it's even really leveraging that entire group of people, that entire database you have throughout the entire country, that then you can connect with other agents on. So never be afraid to understand that you have got absolute ability to bring value to everybody who is in who throughout the whole country. So I'm so glad you brought up leverage about that, Chris, for sure. So for you then, when we're really talking about your time management, doing two things, regardless of whether you're able to kind of control your time a little bit, you're still got two jobs going on, and they're both full time, aren't they? I mean, how do you approach that?
Yeah, pretty much. I joke with my wife all the time. I don't know how she got me to work 7 days a week, but I do. Right? And so in the beginning, it was difficult. It took some time to figure it out, and I think I found a happy balance now. Right. At first, I was alternating days, and I would go into to the shop on one day, real estate the next. And what I found was real estate don't care where you are, right? And so the phone was ringing, and yeah, I could take a call while I'm cutting the hair, but then I felt like I wasn't giving that client the full attention that they deserve, right? And
Mhm.
remember, service is everything, no matter what the business is, you know.
Mhm.
And so I realized very quickly that wasn't working.
Yeah.
So from talking to my wonderful coach, for those of you who don't know, Cole is my coach. And so we were able to work out time blocking, you know, and what I learned was a couple of things. Um, Most real estate happens in the early half of the day, right?
Mhm.
After lunch, you're hard pressed to even catch anybody if they're going to answer their phone or
Right.
stuff like that, right? So if you can get everything done at the beginning of the day, right, which is handling your big rocks, take care of
Mhm.
all the most important things in the beginning of the day, it makes the rest of the day easier,
Mhm.
and you can kind of shut things down a little earlier and handle other things. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what I implemented. My day starts at the shop at 3 o'clock. most of the time I've handled everything that I need in real estate and got it to a stopping point
Mhm.
before I head into the office.
Yeah.
Every now and then I might have to take a phone call, stuff like that. But for the most part, that doesn't happen anymore. So that leaves me time from 3 to 7
Mhm.
to be able to do hair,
Yeah.
at the shop. So
There's something else that you do that's a little bit different than the average agent too, Chris. And I think you've been able to really set your boundaries, right? You're not answering the phone every time it rings. And I think so many agents think that what they've got to do, they've got to be available, 24/7, 11 o'clock at night, their client calls, by gosh, they're going to answer that phone. But you've really set those boundaries and you're still able to run a really big business, right?
right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, look, I get it. New to real estate, you're hungry. Some people they jumped right in, and so they have to make that money, right?
Right.
But at the same time, you have to set a work-life balance,
Yeah.
right? And so, anytime that phone rings, you have to set boundaries. You have to put together a schedule and stick to it, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so, moving back to the military, we used to get up at 4:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
right? We had to get up on out on the airfield and launch jets by 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Wow.
Now there was a lot that happened in between that, right? And I can honestly say that we did more by 6 a.m. than most people did all day, right? And
Mhm.
so bringing that concept into real estate, right?
Yep.
Get up early and do something for you, right? If that's the gym, if that's meditation, right? Read
Love
a
it.
book. I love to read, educational books in real estate.
Mhm.
Do something for yourself first, right? And
Yeah.
then, that'll help propel you through the rest of the day. You know, and so yeah, that's pretty much how I handle, most of my stuff there.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. It's interesting. So much I learned from you on that. I actually have another client and we really did that same type of thing. So for him, he kind of works 7 to 3 really in
Mhm.
his business. And what he ended up doing is just what you just said. He actually decided to start his day very early. And it was all about getting his mind right before the day. So he'd take his dog out for a nice long walk, then he'd hit the gym, then he'd do some reading. And he knew that the way he had his schedule time blocked is that he did not touch real estate, and he set the boundaries for that until 3 o'clock. And
That's right.
so he was totally focused on the job at hand from that 7 to 3. And then 3, he was able to turn it on. As a matter of fact, he actually created with all of his clients that he has or people that he works with, he lets everybody know, and it's even on his voicemail. I
Mhm.
start returning calls at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And it's still,
I
and it
love it.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And when you set boundaries, then you actually get more respect,
Mhm.
right? Because people see you as a professional. And so, I try to tell new agents all the time, listen, after 5 o'clock, the banks are closed. The
Yeah.
title company is closed, right?
Mhm.
Sundays, I don't answer the phone after 7 unless it's an emergency,
Yeah.
right? And on Sundays, I like to keep it family time.
Mhm.
And if I do get a phone call from an agent, I'll respond just to let them know that hey, I'll contact you first thing tomorrow,
Yeah.
right, on the next business day, right? Because there's no banks open, there's no title companies open. The real estate can't go anywhere. Nothing is happening in real estate, right?
Love that.
And so that's
Mhm.
what we have to get that into our mind that there's nothing that's gonna happen that's gonna blow up that deal that you have to pull yourself away from your family,
Yeah.
you know, and to jump to, So
Love
just
it.
take a breath, relax, and don't run your business. Don't let your business run you.
Love that. Love that. As a matter of fact, one of our viewers here, Steve, he says, with running dual businesses and time blocking your day, how do you make time for the other important things like family and vacations? Kind of
Mhm.
plays right into that, right?
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's so. Um, this is one thing that I usually like to ask. When you get into real estate, you have to make a decision as the type of agent that you're going to be, right?
Mhm.
Are you going to be an employer or are you going to be an employee?
Mm.
And get people thinking like, what do you mean? I own my own business. No, are you an employer or an employee? And so to break that down, if you so a listing agent, right? You go and you get the listing,
Right.
and there's a commission fee that's charged, right?
Mhm.
So let's just say that's 6%. Okay,
Okay.
you're gonna offer 3% to the buyer's agent. And
Right.
what did you just do? You just hired the buyer's agent,
It's a
right?
great
So
point.
you are the employer, and you're hiring buyer's agents to come and sell that house for you, and you're
Mhm.
offering them to have a piece of that commission. And so the difference between the two is I could have 7 listings. And I mean, okay, let's back up. I've had 7 listings, and I
Mhm.
was on the beach in the Bahamas with a cell phone and a computer just in case I needed to answer the phone.
Right.
But I was able to get away, right?
Mhm.
Because I had buyer's agents that were selling that house, right?
Right.
And because that's what I hired them to do. Now, if you have 7 buyers, you ain't going nowhere. Right?
Right.
Yeah, unless you leverage, right? If you have a team or something like that, and you have showing agents and all that stuff, but that comes later. You're not
Mhm.
starting out with that. So
Mhm.
if you jump out there and I know buyers, they're usually like the low hanging fruit, that's the quickest business that you can get. But you
Right.
start to get heavy into the buyers, realm, and it really sucks your time away from it. So you
Mhm.
have to make that decision, as to if you're going to be an employer or an employee.
What a great way to frame that. I just love that, Chris. You become an employer, being a listing agent. I mean, that is pretty much it. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we got just a couple minutes to wrap up here. So, what are maybe the top 3 pieces of advice that you can give to someone who's dual career? By the way, any more questions, you guys feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get them out to you. But why don't we start out with those 3 pieces of advice, Chris?
Okay. Well, 3 pieces of advice. Let's see. Um, don't reinvent the wheel, right? There are a ton of agents that's done it before you and they've done it well, right?
Mhm.
So find somebody that's doing what you want to do, or that's living the life that you want to live,
Mhm.
and then befriend them and ask a lot of questions, right? and
Yep.
and you'll find out that it's not some magical potion or anything like that. It's just planning, executing that plan,
Mhm.
and being diligent, and sticking to what you set, the plans and the goals that you set for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be tip number 1. Don't
Okay.
reinvent the wheel. Tip number 2 would be, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think what works the best for me was uh, planning, time
Mhm.
blocking, really
Mhm.
taking control of your schedule.
Mhm.
You know, that's everything. Nobody hates to go to a job that they don't like,
Right.
and so if you have total control, and you can actually enjoy, what you do, especially with that work-life balance. I tell you, my wife works really hard, and
Mm.
she works behind a computer, and she has a difficult job, and I am seeing like the work that the production that I have coming in, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But sometimes I'm sitting at home doing nothing, right? And I feel like I should be doing more, and I'm looking at her work herself to the bone, right?
Mhm.
And I,
Mhm.
fe- I feel bad. I feel bad because I feel like I should be doing more when I'm seeing her work so hard, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be that way, right? And so
Right.
that just shows you that it can be done, and you could actually enjoy your life and still make tons of money while you do it,
There
you
you
know.
go.
Uh, and then and then the third one would be to seek out a mentor or coach,
Mhm.
right? All the best players, the best of the best, they all have coaches, right? You know, LeBron James has a coach. Kobe Bryant has a coach. You know,
Yeah.
Serena, she has a coach, right? Everybody has a coach, and there's always somebody out there that can push you to do more,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you know, even we, you know, we figured out that you know you're either selling homes or you're running a business,
Yeah.
right? If you're selling homes and this is your hobby, then great, make it that. But if you're running a business, you have to learn how to run that business. And so there's no better way to do it than to pick up a coach.
Love that, Chris. You know, one thing that I think is really, really important for people to understand is in the new millennium, okay, there's old school versus new school kind of ways to approach your business, especially in the digital age. You know, one of the things that we teach in our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program really talks about how can you do different types of lead generation, different types of business. So you really are running a business like a business, even when it's dual career. There are ways to do that, guys. So if you are dual career, maybe it's not just 9 to 11 smiling and dialing. That's a bit old school, right? So there's other ways that you can start leveraging your time, leveraging your space in order to really create a powerful business.
Yeah,
Love
totally
that.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's mostly relationships.
Yeah.
And we're in the relationship business. As a matter of fact, I ran into you and your husband at Top Golf, and you know, you saw that I was sitting with a young man, right?
Yep.
So that's my thing. I like to go to lunch and with potential business partners, right? And you know, now how long ago was that? That was what, a couple of weeks ago?
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Since that meeting, I've already received 2 referrals from him.
Love it.
Right.
Love it.
And so you know, it's number one, you should never be going to lunch by yourself. Right? You know, grab anybody you can either learn from or you can do business with, right?
Yep. And
then sit down with them and talk about how can I help you in your business, and in return, you know, how can you help me, right? And so that's a great piece. You'll build your relationships so much stronger if you just go out and break bread with them, and you know, and just be genuine, you know.
Love it. Love it so much.
Everybody out to do business. So
yeah, well, it's such a great point, Chris, right? Because it doesn't have to be just you to a potential client. It's you're leveraging, again, we love that word, leveraging outside people that they're sending people to you, and which is probably one of the very best. I mean, business by referral is what we talk about, but so often we forget how to do that. I love what you're saying. Never go to lunch by yourself. Find those people, especially if you're dual career, if you've got a lunchtime, a coworker, a potential lender, potential title, anybody who has the ability to send you referrals. You know, so the person that we met, what was his role in what does he do business in?
So he was a prior agent, and now he's in finance.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. And so, you know, it's all about if you have somebody that calls you and they're not being represented by an agent, who do you send them to? And if they don't say your name, then okay, that's fine. You know, but how do I become that person?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Just say I wanted the job. How can I be the person to get that job? Absolutely. Chris, you've been so wonderful today. I appreciate you spending some time with us and kind of getting our understanding about dual career going. Love it so much. You're an amazing agent. You're just an amazing all around good guy. Love it so much. Hey, everybody, we've been talking a little bit about our 12 Weeks to Breakthrough program. So I wanted to just share a little bit with you. You may be thinking that you know, Chris is talking about coaching, getting a coach. You may think that there's different ways that you can learn some things. Here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Go ahead, scan this QR code or go to this link here. So it's calendly.com/goalfinley/strategy-session. Schedule some time with me. I'll be happy to sit down. We can do strategy sessions, see what's going on in your world. Maybe coaching is for you, training is for you, maybe it's not. But if I can bring you some value, I'd be so happy to do that with you. Go ahead, reach out, scan that code. And if you are in our Breakthrough RE Facebook group, our private Facebook group, so glad you are. If you're not, here's how you can get to that group. We have all sorts of sharing going on there. A lot of amazing people in that group. That's facebook.com/groups/breakthrough RE. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Chris, thank you again.
Oh, my absolute pleasure.
Always. Yes, yes, yes. And I know you're headed for a listing appointment because that's you. Awesome. So I'll let you go and I'll let everybody go. And I hope everybody has a phenomenal rest of your week. We'll see you later, guys.
Okay, thanks.